know you feel it, the burning in your spirit, welling deep inside. You got a beast inside. I know it's hard to tame it, it's harder to explain it. Can't even get a picture, no matter how you frame it. There's so much pressure with all these external stresses, and they try to touch you. Gotta push them through the feeling, even though your mind is reeling. The power's deep inside and leads you if you were willing. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Power of Shut Up. We come to you every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we talk about how the power of shut up, how we can do better with our words, with our communication, and we bring on wonderful guests to talk about the things that they're doing in the community, and we kind of connect it with the power of shut up, because I think everything involves communication in some form or another. So before we get started and introduce you to our guests for the evening, we actually want to say happy birthday to all of those who are celebrating a birthday today or this month. You know how I feel about birthdays. I will take off and celebrate your birthday. So happy birthday to everybody. Also want to say happy anniversary to those who are celebrating love. I am all about love. So anytime you take out to be with your loved ones or celebrate an anniversary or propose or whatever it is you're doing, do that. Okay. And I also want to say congratulations. Congratulations to anyone who started a new project, bought a new home, started a new job. Whatever you're doing out there, maybe something off your bucket list. Congratulations to you. Keep going. You got this. I wanted to also bring up a couple of things and projects that I'm working on. You all know that I have a couple of projects in the background. I'm working as a producer on a up-and-coming TV show called Dr. Gail on Love, Sex, and Marriage. We have a crowdfunding going on because this show is about building marriage all over the world. It'll deal with issues that need to be addressed in your marriages, like infidelity, communication, like what we talk about, and more. And we talk about how important it is, and we're aiming to find solutions, not just talk about it, but get through it. And we can do that together. So click that link, go, and in any way, if you can support the crowdfunding, we're working on a pilot so that it is in perfect condition for the networks to pick this up. So I'm really excited about this project. And go check out Dr. Gail. She is all about love and marriage. Marriage gets a bad rap, and we're trying to do this project to actually pour back into the union of marriage. That's what it's all about. That's where it starts. So and you'll see the connection when we talk to our guests, because I think she feels the same way about us getting back to the union. And I want to introduce you to our guest, Jane McMillan. She is, and I ran into her page because she talks about men are not the enemy. And I absolutely agreed with this concept. And so I wanted to bring her on to talk about that, because a lot of times, and Jane will probably agree with this, a lot of times we do, the women pour into each other. We talk about how we can, work on ourselves. We do all of this work, but there's another half to this if we're talking about unions. And like I've talked about on the other shows, two things can be true at the same time. So women, we got work to do. But, men got work to do too. But in the process, men are not the enemy. We're in this collectively. And I think that's what Jane is talking about. So I would love to introduce you to our guest, Jane, who is the founder of Men Are Not the Enemy. Welcome to the Power Shut Up podcast, Jane.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Lisa. It's a pleasure to be here. Hi, everyone.
Absolutely. So this is a long time coming. We are so glad that we have you here because I think you have a message. So we wanted to provide a platform for you to be able to share what the message is, and the focus is on, that men are not the enemy. They're not against. We don't have to be against each other. And I love that you're trying to find a way for us to address all issues at the same time. So tell us a little bit about what Men Are Not the Enemy is about.
Uh, um, it's all about me collecting men that are the original design of man, the man that's out here trying to be a better father, working on his marriage, being a community leader, setting the example, the advocate for the man that sees the beauty in family, all that. So the goal is to just bring more positive examples of men back to the surface, so that in return, the issues with women and then the issues with children too will fall under an alignment. And I want them to see, I want the world to see that all men are not the same, and that there are a different type of men out there that the media doesn't talk about.
Absolutely. Jane, I don't know if you saw a couple of weeks ago, we had someone on, Nigel Birch, and he did a spoken word on brotherhood. And he talked about that, where I do agree that men sometimes don't have a safe space to talk about their true feelings, frustration, even if it's just a moment in time where they just, got some stuff they got to get off their chest. And sometimes they don't feel safe. And I think we, in combination, you're speaking on that half, and I actually, with the Power Shut Up, generally speaking, is to, the women that sometimes we need to check our mouths. And it's not saying that sometimes we're even saying anything wrong, but sometimes it's the delivery, it's the timing, it's the intention, and working collectively with someone who's trying to point out that men are not the enemy in this conversation. So it's not a, you do this, I do this, you fix this. It's how can we all work on ourselves and not make each other the enemy. We really are supposed to be a union. We're supposed to be working together on this. And when I really would love for you to speak to your street work. So when I saw you doing your street work and you were talking to these young people and talking to these men, I could really see the passion in what you're trying to do. And a lot of people don't do this, right? They don't do, or street work looks different for them. But it was what I saw you doing, where you really just wanted to get the message out to men that you do have an advocate here. You do have somebody who hears you, and your audience is for those men who really want to be a part of this world of love and relationship. You're not speaking to the men who are like, I'm good, I don't care, whatever. You're talking to the man who really wants this. Right. So talk a little bit about your street work, because I loved watching you do it.
Street work, man. Street work became a thing in the heart of Atlanta. It's a beautiful thing. I learned a lot in Atlanta. I'm a doer. And when I think about things, I'm anxious to put it into play. So I had this idea of like, I have to do more. I'm not the typical podcaster. I'm not a sit down in a perfect setting and have my makeup glowing and have my hair all perfect. That's not my focus. So I had like, okay, I'm sporadic, random, raw content, but I want to connect with the people. I don't want to just talk in the phone. So I was like, let me just get out on the streets. So I literally, street work, I created street work. It's me literally going to the street with a sign that I handmade that says, men are not the enemy. Women need men need love. I hold up other signs too, just to do like experimental things, so that I'm continuing to collect data, because that's where we're all going to get our information, is with the people. The statistics, I know a lot of people are statistical type of people, where they like to read stuff online or read stuff in books. I wanted to get out here and learn this stuff for myself. I wanted to genuinely connect, because I am a man's lady. I'm a man's lady type of girl. So yeah, and just to land my plane, I've met so many wonderful people. Oh my goodness, like it's just been a blessing. It's been a blessing. I've been out on college campuses in Atlanta. I hit the streets on at Clark Atlanta University. So yeah, it's just all about being present. It's just all about being present.
Absolutely. And that's where I saw you on those campuses. For those who don't know, I went to Spelman, so I know that area all too well. And my mom and my sister are, in Georgia. I think I don't even know if I shared, but my sister is a state court judge in Lawrenceville, Georgia. So yeah, that's my other home.
Wow.
And so I'm there. Yeah. And she's marked down there. It's funny because we went from DC to Maryland. DC, Maryland, and then Georgia. So we were either one place or the other. And you happen to be in my other home where I grew up. So I loved seeing that, and I get it, because we got to get the message out here in different ways. Everybody moves differently. Everybody shares their, experience and gets their message out. Like you said, you're raw cut, and you want to make sure you touch the masses. And I wanted to use my platform to be, one of those platforms that recognizes that we're supposed to be working together. And everything's not going to be done the same way, but as long as the message is empowering and enlightening and inspiring others to do better, and understand one another. And I think your message with Men Are Not the Enemy is more so of us understanding that, which is a hard, people, that neither one of us are the enemy, but your focus is men are not the enemy. I think a lot of hurt feelings are walking out here. People are unhealed. They've been damaged. And I get it that some people feel like everybody is the enemy. Some people feel like the world is their enemy. But you're reminding people that even in spite of the fact that we don't always agree, we're not always on the same side, there's no enemy here. We're family. We're supposed to be working together. So I love what you're doing. I think you had some opportunities when you were in Georgia to maybe connect with some people on the HBCU campuses and possibly speak. I'm not sure. Have you had some opportunities like that?
The opportunities presented itself, but unfortunately it never went into play. But that's okay. It's not going to stop me. Sorry.
I say absolutely. It shouldn't stop you because you got a message.
Right. I did want to add though, one thing that I make sure 100% when I'm out, whether I'm doing street work or whether I'm talking just specifically to one person, whatever it is, when somebody says, "Oh, but men need women too," that really annoys me. That annoys me to my core. It itches my skin, because I want to make this very clear for the viewers: is I can't speak for everybody that's watching right now, but I don't see many men say that they don't need women. Men are not outside picketing and striking against women. They may go to a different ethnicity of a woman, or they may leave this particular woman that's causing them hell and go somewhere else. But they're not, in general, as a whole, they're not walking away from women. They're not out here protesting against women. They're just finding another woman. Whereas women, in my opinion, from what I see from out here being amongst the people with my own statistics, I see it's women that are walking away from men, deliberately walking away from men. So that's the reason why when I do the street work with a sign that says women need men, that is a profound statement, because that right there is where that's where the all the reasoning and all the correction needs to start. Is women. I would love for women to recognize the value of man again, so that we can fix the rest of the culture and the generations to come.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. I'm one of those women who feels like, and of course my status is married, and I need my husband. So I agree with you. I do think, and this is where I kind of see where we need some work, you know, and I get it what you're saying about, you know, you get it. Everybody is not the enemy kind of thing. And I do understand, you know, where you're coming from with that, because we actually had a conversation on another show. And that's why I was saying for Dr. Gail, who talks about marriage, when we go into her conferences, a lot of women will say, well, what about he does this, he does that. And her focus though is, and this is a hard thing. I'm just going to say this. This is hard for people in general, but sometimes women, it's hard for us to understand that when we're having a conversation about where we need to do work, that is what it is. Like, it has nothing to do. And I said this on one of my other shows, even though I may recognize that my husband has some work he has to do, it does not negate the fact that I got some issues that I need to deal with. And in this conversation alone, that's where the focus is. And I think that's what you're talking about. Like, I get it. You know, there are women out there that are not the enemy too, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about those ladies. I'm talking about the men who you feel are not the enemy. So let's just say in that lane. And I think that's where you're coming from it. But I think people have a hard time dividing the two, because then you have to do the work. You have to check yourself. You have to think about what you're doing. And I had to do the work. So I get what you're saying. The fact that you get sometimes is because it is a really difficult position to address your stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? And if you have some hurt feelings, you've been hurt in the past in a relationship or whatever it is, so you're angry with that situation, so you mad at men right now, somebody saying men are not the enemy is like, what you mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? And they can't separate from their own personal experience. So that's why I love the message that you're sending. I think people kind of misunderstand what you're trying to say. You're saying, you know, hey, men need the same love that everybody else needs out here. And I do agree that we are more loud with what women need sometimes, and men get kind of left behind. Or not heard. We don't hear them as loudly because they aren't as outspoken. I think, you know, we talk about the fact that men don't, and I share this with my podcast, that people don't realize men use a lot fewer words than women do. We use a lot of words. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but sometimes they get lost in all of that because they were done a long time ago. Like, they check out. And it's just the differences between how men and women communicate. So I really appreciate what you're doing out there, because you really want to see men and women get it together. You really do. And you want women, I think in your angle is, you want women to recognize that there's some good men out here who are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to connect with you. They want to hear you. And I get it, because I got pushed back with the Power Shut Up. I had people approach me like, how dare you suggest that we shut up? And I was like, you're not hearing me. If that's what you heard, then you're not hearing me. And I think when men are not the enemy, they're not hearing what you're saying. And you're saying men are not the enemy, which is no truer statement.
Right. It's very exhausting, Lisa. Oh my goodness, man. Like, oh my Lord. And I know I get, well, I know people see me as getting like frustrated very easily. And that is probably a thing because I'm an extreme empath. And, but it's very, I've been talking lately with the fellas about like the amount of energy that it takes to even put into a woman to even have a conversation. Like, and I'm becoming to understand men more and more, and it's becoming to be revealed to me their mental stress. Because, you know, like you just said, like, men don't think like women. They are men of very few words, or if they do speak, it's like really like you're speaking another language for real. It's like they're on topic, but they say it in different ways, and then we begin to like, okay, but like, you amount of energy, the amount of to even have a conversation with women, I ask myself all the time, how did we get here to where you literally have to butter up every woman? Like you have to cater to their needs first before you can even be effective and them hearing you. You have to surrender unto them. You have to make them feel good. You have to, you have to literally put yourself in their shoes and do the empathy and do the sympathy and all this stuff. I mean, I love the fact that if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. But at the same time, like I see the exhaustion firsthand. I witness the exhaustion. I feel the exhaustion. Just by trying to have a simple conversation with a woman. It's like, it's draining. It's energy draining.
I see what you're saying. I think I would probably add to that I think because it's not all women, and I guess I can say that because but I will say that I too didn't just kind of come upon, one day I woke up and it was like, oh, I get it. I had to do some work. And I think with that, you're saying for those women who are not open or they're working, in their pain and stuff, they're closed. So it makes it difficult for a man to actually talk to you and find out what's going on with you. Because I think I've had moments when and I'm just speaking for self. I think we've all been in those moments where we needed that empathy and that even coddling at times, but it took growth. I mean, I'm getting older now, y'all. So I needed to work through some of those issues because those were me issues. Those weren't he issues. Those were me issues. And a lot of times we're not holding on to our stuff, and then it pours into our conversations when I'm not in the dating world, but I do hear from my friends who are single and, they're talking about the frustration with dating because communication is so tough. And that's why I really wanted to kind of talk with you because I love what you're saying about men not being the enemy. And I do think that communication plays a huge role in this conversation. I know we get lost in well, she does this and he does that or whatever, but I love your focus. And that's why I wanted to, get you on here and for you to kind of share your view on what you mean when you say men are not the enemy. Because I do think at times, and I know I've been on some of your lives where I think the message gets lost because people are fighting. They're fighting for, as they say on TikTok, girl, sliding down the walls on, no, hear me.
Right.
And you and I hear you, and I do understand that when you say women, you're not speaking about all.
Right.
And I get, because we have great conversations. So I know you're not speaking about all. So I would encourage, this is my encouragement in regards to knowing Jane and meeting her and talking to her about men are not the enemy. Please understand that when women is said, it's not talking about every woman. If this is not you and you are not that woman, then the message is not for you.
Right.
Stop taking it in. It can be harsh. So if you're feeling like that, all I'm saying is to be open and say, hey, am I that woman? I had to do the same thing. Am I that woman that be running her mouth too much? Yeah, it was me. But you can't use it against me now because I understand that was me. And it's okay. It's okay not to get it. We're not perfect. But Jane, let's take a minute. Hold tight real quick. We're going to take a commercial break and run a trailer on did we run the trailer for Dr. Gail on Love Sacrament? Let's run that trailer real quick because it kind of connects with what we're talking about. And then we'll be right back. Hold tight.
Oh, okay.
I didn't feel like I was being heard, so I turned to somebody else who heard me.
Infidelity is just the surface.
In the wrong environment, I can fall right back.
Me not setting those boundaries hurt me.
You find yourself in a place of going like, okay, I done really fucked up.
Why is that so important that you leave your home to have your wife by yourself?
Since he's been home and I've been working full time, I've noticed that the girls call out for him more. And I felt a disconnect because I'm working all the time. And it made me feel bad as a mom.
So that's a snippet from the pilot that we're working on, where we actually did a casting call. We had some wonderful couples from all ages that are dealing with real life issues. And Gail's thing is, we can work through anything if you put your mind to it and we address it and get to it. And she addresses everybody. So, but I will say in her conferences, she addresses the women and the wives. So she gets us in check, because she's like, I need you to go home and do better. And as long as you realize that it's something else that you can learn and do better with, I think that's Jane's message, that, hey, for those who know that you're close, for those who know that you're dealing with some stuff inside, whether it's daddy issues, whether it's, whatever it is, she's just saying, hey, deal with it, so that the man that you love or that you meet, that you'll be ready for them. So when they come, you're open to the hard conversation, not the easy ones. We can all do the easy ones, but the difficult situations and conversations. So, Jane, I wanted to ask you, before we have a little fun with some other things, because I know we're only limited to an hour, but I'm so glad that you made it here with us. So tell us where you're looking for. I know you will merch products or things like that I would love to. I need to get me something. But tell us where you look for Men Are Not the Enemy to go. What is your vision, your goal for Men Are Not the Enemy?
I want to be like you, Lisa. I want to be internationally known. I want to be a paid speaker. I see myself going into prisons. I see myself going into schools. I see myself being on stage with Steve Harvey. I just want to be a voice for forgiveness. I see myself being the voice for forgiveness. I just constantly, I just want to be the voice for forgiveness. I see myself making a living doing what I love, which is talking, using my gift. And then I want men in return to, the goal is to just bring everybody back to God. That's really what it is. I don't say that out loud, because I know, some people tell you don't say God too much, because it'll put you in certain type of genre or niche or whatever you want to say it. But anyway, the goal in return is to just restore heaven on earth, peace on earth, and just realign that God, man, woman, child order.
Hey, you ain't saying nothing but a word with that, Jane. Over here, I am, and we haven't had some of these conversations, but and I understand that anybody who comes on the platform doing this for years, that we're not always agreeing in every space. But when it comes to marriage, I am that girl. And I believe in the order of things: God, spouse, and then everybody else. But I'm not saying that we even came by it easy. It's something that we had to, and that's what I want people to understand. Even with what you're saying, nobody is saying that automatically when you say the message, everybody just gets it and then they move in it. It's work involved in all of these messages. You're not just gonna wake up and get it. I didn't. And sometimes you're gonna fight it, because you're so naturally you've been fighting for years. So it's natural to fight. It's natural to push back, even on something you agree with. Sometimes you will push back on it because it's like, but when we talk about the Lord is present over here. And we hope that he's present with every episode in our lives so that we can do better. Just, I think, generally speaking, any message that helps to uplift the men, any message that helps to uplift the family, to uplift women, is a message that I want to share. And I know that sometimes different people deliver things different ways, so the message gets lost. So part of what I want to do here is to make sure that take all that outside noise out of this. What's the message? And I like that you are very transparent and open. I love that you share where you want this to go. You don't hold back. I appreciate that from you. I really, really do. Because we two different women, but I love your energy. It's contagious. You speak from the heart. And that's going to be appreciated. So thank you for all that you do. And I want people to know where they can find you. But before we do that, Jane, and
Hey there, Power of Shut Up family. It's time for the Word of the Week, where we not only expand our vocabulary, but also learn to communicate with confidence and clarity. So, let's dive right in. This week's word is ersatz. It's an adjective that means substitute or imitation, usually inferior in quality. Here's how you can use it in a sentence. She didn't want an ersatz friendship built on flattery and lies. She valued genuine connections. You see how that works? It's a powerful word to describe something that's not quite the real deal. So, this week, challenge yourself to use ersatz in a conversation. And remember, the words we choose shape the way we communicate and connect with others. That's your word of the week on the Power of Shut Up. Until next time, keep your words intentional and impactful. See you soon.
It's time for your tip of the week, where we uncover strategies to communicate mindfully and make meaningful connections. Let's get into it. This week's tip is all about validity versus volume. Remember, validity is not determined by how loud or forceful your words are. When you're in a discussion, raising your voice or overpowering someone doesn't make what you're saying right. It just makes it loud. So here's the challenge. The next time you're in a conversation, focus on the content of your message, not its delivery. Speak with clarity, confidence, and intention, because mindfulness is what truly makes your words impactful. That's your tip of the week on the Power of Shut Up. Let's make our conversations intentional and meaningful. Until next time, be mindful, stay grounded, and keep the power in your words.
But I wanted to actually ask you, Jane, where can people find you? Where can they connect with you to make sure that they follow you on this journey, so that one day they can know what stage you will be speaking on?
Before I do that, can I say one thing? Can I give the people a gem before we go?
Sure.
Okay, so I've never been married before, which is, I know to a lot of people that's crazy, because people say I'm beyond my years or whatever the case may be, which that's only me being equipped by God. But I want to say this for the married couples out there, or for the single couples out there. For the single people out there.
Right, gotcha.
Contemplate this before you get married, because the goal for us is to stay married. The goal is not to divorce. The goal is, when you walk down the aisle one time, that should be your forever. So I want all the singles, especially the women, I want you guys to take this with you, put it in your back pocket. If you have not contemplated every possible scenario that could happen in your future marriage, and without a shadow of a doubt, tell yourself truly that you will still stay in your marriage, you are either not ready for marriage, or you're probably just not for marriage. Everybody is not meant to be married. Some of us are, unfortunately, I know that's a hard pill to swallow, because we relationship goals. We have so many beautiful couples that you admire them, you envy them. Oh my God, I want that one day. Oh my God, I want my husband to be like that. Oh my God, I want my wife to be just like her. We have all these people to that are idols to a lot of us, right? Or to a lot of people. I don't have any idols, but I'm just saying. So with that being said, because I had somebody, there was a guy on my podcast that challenged me last night, and he was asking me, well, what if your husband came to me and told me that my intimacy level, his ex's intimacy level was better than mine. Okay. And I was like, well, first of all, I would laugh, but I wouldn't leave my husband just because he's telling me that. And ironically, this guy could not understand that. He could not understand that I wouldn't be upset. So it's all of, the cheating, because I saw your clip about cheating and stuff, infidelity and stuff like that. Ladies, I'm going to tell y'all, stuff is going to happen in your marriage, man. Forever is a long time. Forever is a long time. You're going to go through stuff in that forever. So just to land my plane, I just wanted to encourage the single. If you're a woman, you got to recognize, man, you're going to do stuff that this man is not going to like, and he's going to do stuff that you don't like. Both of y'all, if you can't say without a shadow of doubt that you a ride or die, that you're going to stay into the wheels fall off unless it's something detrimental or somebody's trying to harm you, then you're not married. You need to pump your brakes. But you guys can all find me on all streams, men are not the enemy. Even on TikTok, it's She Is Jane. But if you hashtag the Men Are Not the Enemy, it will bring you to my platform on TikTok. Instagram, Men Are Not the Enemy. YouTube, Men Are Not the Enemy. I do have an online store as well too that I'm working to get back up. So yeah, you guys can subscribe, follow, all that good stuff at Men Are Not the Enemy. Hashtag right there.
I love that message. And I'm resonating with it because I've said this before. Y'all gonna go through some stuff, okay? And it happens. And I will add to what you said. I love that. That's a great ending to this, because what you have to decide is that there are going to be some things in your marriage that irritate the mess out of you, that you don't like, that he don't like. And you're going to have to understand that, are you willing to deal with this for the rest of your life? Because it may not change. Right. He may not put the seat down. He may not put the top on the toothpaste. He may not always address you in the moment that you want. Like, those are real things that may never happen. But is that your straw? Is that your last straw? And before you go into marriage, I agree on the other side of this with Jane is that, yeah, you have to decide, is that worth not being with your person? Because your person ain't never going to be perfect. Y'all are imperfect to each other. So thank you for that, Jane, because I think that that's definitely a gem. I appreciate you for being here. We're going to show this last clip for those who are in the DMV area for this amazing, talented woman who has an event on December 5th, I believe, at the Public Playhouse in Maryland. Please check this out. And then Jane and I are going to come back and say good evening to you all until next week, because this is the month of December. And we are getting ready to shut it down for the holidays, because y'all know I love the holidays, and I absolutely love being with my husband and my children and my family. Grown as they are, they don't know how to go away from home, but that's a blessing. So we ain't gonna be here through the holidays, but check this out. And then Jane, we're gonna come back and say goodbye to them. And I thank you so much for being here. Hold on tight. Let's check this out. We'll be right back.
I'm home for the holidays. Oh, yeah. And I'll be home for Christmas. And home is where the heart is. Wait, that's not a Christmas song. Anywho, listen, are you feeling like a little grinchy? Mm-hmm. Need a break from all the tangled Christmas lights, and who is cooking all that food and all that holiday stress, honey? Not feeling so festive yet? Don't worry, I can help. I am Silver Logan Sharp, your holiday harmony ambassador and your musical merry maker, ready to untangle your troubles, honey, and rock your holiday socks off. That's right, I'm back. Join me Saturday, December 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at Public Playhouse in Cheverly, Maryland. It's home for the holidays with Silver Logan Sharp and the Groovement All-Stars Holiday Concert. Bring the entire family. You get free parking, and they'll be singing and dancing and a few guest surprises. I might even bring a little silverware, because you know you got some last-minute Christmas shopping to do. Child tickets are flying like reindeer. So click the link and make sure you snag them now. I'll see you then at Public Playhouse. It's home for the holidays. Hey, I'm home, and it's the holidays. I'm home. Hey, it's the holidays. Hey.
A few minutes later.
I'll be home for Christmas. I'll be home for Christmas. I think I need a go-go version. Hey. Some jingle bells.
Correct. I said December 5th, which is that I messed up. 21st. Y'all make sure y'all get y'all tickets, and y'all heard that little go-go tip. That means y'all know it's definitely DMV if we talking about go-go, okay? That's home for me. But thank you, Jane, so much for joining us on the Power Shut Up podcast. I'm so glad you were here. And anything that I can do to help, because I hear you. And I've told you this, even probably, I hear you. I hear your heart. So thank you for sharing this with, our guests. And I wish you nothing but success in your journey. Keep going. You got this. Like I said, your energy is contagious. So I love it. It keeps me going.
Thank you. Thank you. And you keep doing it big too. I have so many ideas, but I just got to put it into play. But I will say, If anybody wants to connect, if you have an organization or wherever you are, just reach out to me. But thank you, Lisa, so much for having me. This is definitely a pleasure. And y'all be blessed.
Absolutely. So happy holidays to everyone. Please enjoy your family and friends. And let's do better. We can all do better. So let's do better. And remember, men are not
the enemy.
Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.